Okay, so the next story, speed dating.
Oh, wonder what this one's going to be about.
Speed dating, maybe? At the age of 30, I was still single. My mother kept asking me when I was going to find myself a nice girl and settle down. Picture here of girl, I think it's lesbian. I assured her it was only a matter of time. I knew that was a lie. I had been out on a date in over 6 months. All of my friends were already married, and some of them even had kids. I was beginning to feel left out. That's why I decided to try speed dating. The event was being held at a fashionable bar in the city centre. I dressed in my best shirt and pants, flashed a mask shave on my neck, and left the house. When I reached the bar, I walked in, trying to project an air of confidence. I was shockwave when I saw how many other people had shown up. I counted 21 men and 21 women in total. The host explained the rules of speed dating. The women all sat around at separate tables, while the men moved from table to table, spending 3 minutes talking to each woman. When the buzzer sounded, it meant your 3 minutes were up, and it was time to move on. When everyone was ready, the buzzer sounded and the speed dating began. The first girl I sat down with was 21, much too young for me. The second was 40-something, much too old. The third one was really ugly and I caught a very bad smell from the floor. The fifth woman seemed nice, until she mentioned that she was divorced and had 5 children already. The sixth happened to let it slip that she had a history of drug addiction, and the seventh had a weird shaped head.
Very picky.
Yeah, I began to give up hope of ever finding a perfect match. The eighth lady was very fat and sweet, and sweat was rolling down her face. The ninth had false teeth that fell out when she started to talk, and the 10th was much too skinny. The 11th woman couldn't speak English. The 12th had a squish nose that made her look like a pig. The 13th kept farting throughout our time together. And the 14th just stared at me and never said a word. I noticed when she stood up that she only had one leg and walked with a cane. I was glad when the buzzer sounded and I was able to move along. The 15th woman had a terrible rash all over her body. I made the 16th lady laugh so hard that she threw up over the table.
It's a bit unlikely.
The 17th seemed alright, except the fact that she kept picking her nose and eating it. The 18th seemed attractive, but she had a deformed hand. The 19th one was in a wheelchair. When I got to the 20th one...
Oh my god, that's so rare. You can't just exclude them for being in a wheelchair.
When I got to the 20th woman, I threw up my hands in disbelief. She obviously had too much to drink and was curled up in a ball on her seat, snoring loudly. Just as I was contemplating skipping out early and going home, I sat down opposite the final lady. She was one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen. She had long, flowing dark hair, bright green eyes, and a cute little smile. She was dressed completely in black. Black dress, black shoes, black everything. But she had a very bubbly personality. Everything I said made her giggle. Her name was Karen, and she was 28 years old. She said she had qualified as a nurse, but she was currently unemployed. She had been married with 2 children, but after her kids died of cancer, her husband abandoned her. I immediately felt sorry for Karen and praised her for keeping I immediately felt sorry for Karen and praised her for keeping such an upbeat attitude despite all the tragedy in her life. At the end of the night, we stayed chatting together and we got on like a house on fire. When it was time to go, I asked her for her number and we arranged to go out on a date. The next evening, I couldn't believe it, I had actually scored with a beautiful woman. When things went very well and we began dating regularly, as the weeks and months passed, our relationship moved pretty quickly. It seemed as if we were truly matched for each other. After about 7 months together, I decided to put a question and asked her to marry me. Of course, she said yes. After the wedding, I moved out of my small apartment and began moving my belongings into her home. I had a lot of boxes filled with old books, and I asked if I could store them in her basement. Relax, she said with a laugh. I'll bring them down there while you're at work tomorrow. The next few months were great. We never got tired of each other's company, and I thought I'd found true love. Unfortunately, something happened that shattered our blissfully idyll and changed my life forever. One Sunday, I was sitting in front of TV reading the newspaper. Karen told me she needed to go to the grocery store and pick up something for dinner. She kissed me on the cheek, and just as she was about to walk out the front door, I told her there was a book I needed to get from the basement. "Oh, the door is locked," she said. "Wait until I get back. I'll go down there and get it for you." After she left, I became curious. All the time I had been living with her, she never allowed me to go down into the basement. She always came up with some excuse or other. I decided to explore while she was away. The basement door was locked, but after rummaging around, I managed to find the key hidden at the back of the kitchen drawer. As soon as I opened the basement door, I smelled a terrible, rancid stench. The entire basement looked as if it hadn't been used in years. Everything was covered in a thick layer of dust. The concrete walls were crumbling and the wooden stairs were damp and rotten. When I reached the bottom of the steps, the smell was putrid. In the corner, I noticed a box with an old video recorder and some VHS videotapes inside. A strange curiosity overcame me, and I grabbed the box and brought it upstairs. After plugging the video recorder in and hooking it up to the TV, I inserted the first videotape and pressed play. I should never have done that. The video was extremely shaky and grainy in the darkness. I could just barely make out the figure of a man tied to a chair. Another figure stood over him, wearing a black mask and dressed from head to toe in a shiny black leather. A chill ran down my spine as I realised the figure was holding a large axe. Suddenly, to my horror, it lifted the axe above its head and brought it crashing down, slicing off the man's hand. He screamed in pain as the figure delivered more and more blows with the axe. I watched in utter terror, unable to tear my eyes away from the screen. Each blow of the axe hacked off another piece of the man's body, until his arms and legs were lying in pieces all around him and his just writhing, bloody torso in a chair. Throughout the carnage, the killer was giggling like a schoolgirl. With shaking hands, I reached out and stopped the video. Just then, I heard a voice behind me. "So you stumbled on my dirty little secret," it said. I slowly turned. My wife was standing at the door, dressed in black leather bodysuit. In her hands, she was holding a large axe. She began to giggle. I don't remember what happened after that. The next-door neighbours must have heard my terrified screams and called the police. 4 officers burst through the door. They managed to tackle my wife and subdue her before she killed me. Then they rushed me to hospital. Of course, there was a big trial afterwards. My wife was found guilty and the judge gave her the death penalty. I was present at the execution just before they threw the switch on the electric chair. They asked her if she had any last words. "It's his own fault," she yelled. "He never should have married me." Then she giggled like a little schoolgirl as the executioner pulled the lever and electricity surged through her body. 5 minutes later, she was pronounced dead. Years later, I still have nightmares about her. I've been through therapy, and the doctors say that with time I may be able to overcome the horrific trauma I experienced. While I was in the hospital, I met a wonderful woman. She was my nurse, and over the weeks and months we fell in love. She isn't the most beautiful woman I ever met, and she doesn't have a perfect body. She lost an eye and 3 of her fingers on her left hand in a car accident. Despite all that, she is certainly the most loving and caring person a man could wish for. Inside, she was a heart of gold. Last summer, we got married and moved in together. She has helped me a lot. Whenever I read the newspaper, she turns the pages for me. Whenever I had an itch, she scratches it for me. She managed to restore my trust in woman, but sometimes late at night, when I'm lying in bed, I still miss my arms and legs. That was so long.
Well, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a twist at the end.
Oh,
So you actually found out that I'd been mutilated at the end.
yeah.
Clever little twists.